Hi everyone, it's Nicole here, and I'm coming to you with episode 45 of my Question of the Day series. And today's question is a really good one, so let's get straight to it. The question is, why is English more difficult than my own language? Look, that's a really interesting question and one that I will help you turn around. Um, we are taking the wrong approach to learning if we think that learning English is difficult. Because by thinking that way, we are turning English learning into a negative learning experience. And that's definitely not what we want. We want to enjoy learning English. We want to have the motivation to learn and to practice every single day. We want to be successful, don't we? Well, it all starts with our way of thinking. If we think it's hard, well, it is. If we think more positively and we are prepared for a challenge, well, the English learning journey will be far more successful and far more rewarding. I'm sure you agree with me. So let's have a look at a few things that you can do to start thinking a bit differently. First of all, are you comparing English to your own language? If you compare English to your native tongue, of course you'll find differences. And these differences will be really difficult to accept and to remember. You know, the level of difficulty of English all depends on the language family of your mother language. You know, your idea of what is difficult about English all depends on what your own language is and which language group it belongs to. You know, if English and your native language are both from the same language group, like a Germanic language, for example, you will find it much easier to learn and to practice and to improve your English. But if your language is from a different language group and there's really no connection to English, there's no similarity to English, of course you'll find it much more difficult because the two languages are so different. So, in my opinion, it's best not to compare your language and English at all, and instead to accept that English is the way it is. You know, you learn the rules, you learn the exceptions, you learn the vocabulary, and you practice, practice, practice. That's really the only way. Number two, do you rely on translation? Do you translate from English into your language and vice versa? Of course, you'll find English difficult if you translate to or from your own language, because no two languages are the same. And you'll never be able to accurately translate word for word unless you're a trained professional translator, interpreter, of course, and that's your job and you've studied that. So remember, okay, translation is not your friend when it comes to learning and practicing English. It only causes more difficulties. If you translate when listening, Well, you'll only hear or understand half. If you translate when reading, you'll never read confidently and fluently and understand everything. If you translate when speaking, you'll never have a natural conversation or feel confident with your speaking skills. And if you translate when writing, well, it will take you 10 times longer than it should. So the simple answer is don't translate. Next. Do you learn English instead of absorbing English? Look, when a child learns a language, they absorb the language like a sponge. You know, children don't question why or how. Children just accept language the way it is, and they use the language the way it is. They're not really afraid of making mistakes either. As an adult, unfortunately, we learn differently. You know, most of us don't accept the language the way it is. We don't absorb the language anymore. Instead, we analyze everything. We compare our own language with English and we constantly question why. Does that sound like you? Well, that is our downfall. Okay. If you find English difficult, perhaps it's time to change the way you're learning. You know, take directions from a child. You know, children learn easily and happily and successfully, and you can too. Next, are you afraid of making mistakes? Yeah, look, most of us fall into this category. We are afraid of being wrong, of making mistakes, and of looking or sounding silly. Of course, we think it's hard if we believe that we have to be perfect. You know, what is perfection? Will we ever be perfect? Please never forget that mistakes are actually good. They're great. They're amazing because they help you learn. They're part of the natural learning process. And the more mistakes we make, the more we will improve. That's just the way it is. So if you're afraid of making mistakes, don't be afraid anymore. Make them because they will help you accelerate your learning and get to where you want to go much more quickly. So, a quick overview here of the main points that I've spoken about today. So, number one, please don't compare languages. You know, every language is different, and of course, it's difficult to accept differences. But if you compare English with your own language, you're only setting yourself up for difficulties, for failures. We don't want that. So don't compare. Simple. Number two, translation doesn't work. So don't do it. You know, translating from English to your language or from your language to English, it only makes language learning so much more difficult and it takes so much longer than it should. So, again, don't do it. Number three, it's a really good idea to start accepting language the way it is, just like a child. You know, accept things the way they are. That's the way English is. We're never going to change it. So don't question it. Don't overanalyze. Don't compare. Just accept, learn, use. And number 4, always remember that it's okay to make mistakes, okay? Mistakes are a necessary part of the learning process. We should never be afraid of them. We have to make them. They're really the only and the best way for us to learn and to improve. So there you go, my 4 tips for today. A quick bonus tip before I say goodbye. In my opinion, difficulty is really up to each individual and their way of thinking. What I find difficult might not be difficult for you, and vice versa. So just like Mandarin or Russian or German or even Arabic may be really difficult for an English speaker, well, English may be difficult for other language groups as well. So just remember, okay, if we believe it's difficult, it will be. It's really important for us to change our way of thinking. And instead of thinking, oh, it's so difficult, we need to say, I'm ready for a fun challenge. I can do this. And that will completely change your frame of mind and shift your ability to learn, to remember, and to improve. Sounds good. If you enjoyed today's lesson, please let me know. And if you have any questions about this topic or any other topics, please do get in touch as well. I'd love to hear from you and I'd love to help you with any questions that you may have. I might even include them in a future episode. And as I said, if you enjoyed learning with me today, please come and join my learning community. I'd absolutely love to have you there over in my Facebook community on the page and in the group. I've got thousands of English learners from all over the world. You'll fit right in. I'm sure you'll love it. Of course, my YouTube channel as well has hundreds of learning videos to keep you happily learning and improving. And over on my website and blog are lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of learning resources to help you move forward with the English language. Of course, I've also got online courses and a learning library and a VIP club. You're welcome to go and have a look at them as well. Anyway, I say a big thank you for joining me today. I do hope that you enjoyed today's topic. Thank you to the person who asked about this one. And I look forward to coming back very soon with many more question of the day sessions to help you improve your English skills, feel much more confident in your English ability, and to really learn in the best way possible in order to get the best results. So thank you everyone, and I wish you all a wonderful day. Don't forget to share this video with family and friends if you think that they would benefit too. Thank you.